Hey friends, so I don't actually have any particular thing I want to talk about, but I took a day off. I guess I'll be talking about taking a break. I took a day off with my wife to come and hang out at Fullerton Hotel, which I think I've done before once and I have a video of it, right? But anyway, just never waste an opportunity to make a video in an interesting place. You see that is the Esplanade, and they used to have, I don't know if they still have, there's a library at the Esplanade that I used to hang out at as a kid all the time when I was a teenager, and I used to go there and I would tell myself I would go there to do my homework, but what would happen would be that I would simply take out a whole bunch of books and I'll tell myself that I'm reading them as a reward in between doing my homework, or just as a quick break before whatever. I'll end up just reading the books and not doing my homework. And in retrospect, that was the smart thing for me to do in life. Like it, like people will say, "Oh, survivor bias," or "You got lucky," or whatever. But like, I was following my interest and I was doing what was interesting to me, and that made it easier for me to continue being interesting and navigating by interestingness, and that's interesting to other people as well. Whereas doing your homework is not very interesting. So again, maybe most people should just do their homework because they aren't cut out for interestingness seeking. I find that to be a bit of a cop out, but sure, it's not for everyone probably, but you can live your life navigating by interestingness. I've done it, but even before me, like I got the courage to do it because I know that there have been people throughout history who have done it. There, as an essay I've been wanting to write called Men of Letters, I don't know yet, about the people in history who wrote their way out, right? So that's how Lin-Manuel wrote Alexander Hamilton's character in the Hamilton musical, where he says, I wrote my way out of hell, I wrote my way out of the Caribbean island. People took up a collection and sent him to the mainland. He wrote his way into love, seduced his wife that way, wrote Constitution, helped write the Constitution, or the Treasury, all those things. He wrote, his writing was his way out. And there are a lot of people like that throughout history, not just Hamilton. I want to make a list. The president of Sony at some point, he wrote himself into that position. He wrote something critical but thoughtful, like thoughtfully critical of Sony products, and the Sony co-founders were so impressed that they hired him and as a consultant initially, and then eventually they made him president because he was so thoughtful in his criticisms. And it goes on and on. There are all these other people throughout history. Like, so Montaigne was like this, I would say Emerson was like this, Erasmus was like this, Mersenne. Again, I'm not going to talk about it in this video, but like, I am just so... what am I? I am getting tired, I guess, of repeating myself to people who don't get it. And I guess the way in which I have been telling these stories it's mostly I tweet, right? So the way I've been tweeting may have hit some limit in terms of, I don't think I've hit a limit in terms of what is possible, but I've gotten somewhat bored. I need fresh perspective, fresh vocabulary. And speaking of fresh vocabulary, I've been meaning to make a video about fresh vocabulary. I've been meaning to write an essay, and the essay has been lingering for a long time, and so, like, stewing in my drafts for a long time. And so I figure I might as well speak about it. So like, sometimes if I'm stuck on an essay, the way out, I think, is to write. No, sorry, if I'm stuck on the writing, the way out is to dictate, to speak about it. And I was reading Marshall McLuhan's Understanding Media, and he talks about how a whole bunch of people that we think of as writers, what they did was they dictated to a typist. So they were speaking, right? Yeah. So not all writing was done by someone sitting down with a paper and pen. Sometimes people had a typist and they would dictate, which is such an interesting thing I had not considered. And so, this YouTube thing that I do sometimes where I just talk out loud about my ideas, it's not exactly a new process. I mean, it's maybe a new tool I'm using my phone, but yeah. What else? Main reason I wanted to make this video is to remind myself that it's good to take breaks and to just get out of your usual environment. And you can try to be utilitarian about it and be like, what's the point? I can do whatever anywhere I am. That's not entirely true. There are certain things that check out these pillars. There are certain things that you can only do in certain contexts. I mean, not only do, but it becomes easier to do when you're in a context that encourages it or allows it. And I just want to remind myself of that. I want to go out for coffee more, somewhere fancy. I have been putting too much pressure on myself in my life throughout to kind of try not to spend money, try not to require external environmental effects. But maybe that was necessary when I was a teenager and I had no money and very little autonomy and couldn't move around and stuff like that. But now I can do whatever I want, and I don't, out of habit, which I am done with. I feel a sense of doneness with it. And yeah, take a vacation, guys. Take a break. Go somewhere. It's not even from a purely like. First of all, you shouldn't be trapped in like this productivity mindset where the reason you take a break is so that you can be more productive. But if that's what it takes, take the break. And then on that break you can be like, oh man, why am I so productivity pilled? Why don't I just take a break for the sake of taking a break? Because leisure is important and pleasure is important. My wife is taking a photo of me from inside the room. Anyway, I'm done for now. I hope you guys are well. Take a break if you need one. Take a break even if you don't think you need one. You may need one when you don't think you need one. And get some fresh perspective. It helps in ways that you may not realize that you need help. Alright? Then.